Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. The election season, brief as it is in Coffee County, is coming up, and we have a couple of things we want to talk about. Mainly the race for Alderman in Tullahoma. We have 2 vacancies, and we have 4 candidates. So 2 of them will be selected, and 2 won't. And it's not a primary. We won't have any ranking. The top 2 votes will be members of the board, and be the end of that. Before we get to the candidates, let me suggest you put a couple of things on your calendar. If you are not presently registered to vote, you need to do that. You've got until July the 1st, and that'll be cut off. Early voting will be from the 12th to the 27th of July, and the election itself is Thursday, August the 1st. So need to have those 3 on your calendar if you would. Our show today is with Jackie Duncan and and Daniel Berry, and the 2 of them are here to try to convince you that you should vote for them. So welcome, guys, and thank you for coming and for sharing your time with us. And we're fairly familiar with Jackie Duncan. He's been on the scene for quite some time, but let's give him a chance to review for us, tell us who he is and what he's about. Jackie?
Thank you, Tom. I'm Jackie Duncan. I think most everybody around here, I'm sure knows me. I've been here all my life. I was born in Camp Forest, and hard to run me away. I left a time or 2, and I always come back. You know, Tullahoma is such a fine place to live. When you're young, and I think a lot of our high school students, especially, I was at my age, I decided, I got to go out and see the world. And this town is not quite big enough for me, and I want to go and see what's going on somewhere else. Well, when you get there, you find out that home was not so bad after all, especially when it's a good town. And every town is not as good as Tullahoma, that's for sure. Not the place Tullahoma is, but you find out that you could do a lot better, back home. And I stayed away for a while, saw the big cities, saw the lights, even wrote a poem about Tullahoma. It's out on YouTube, and it just tells how I feel about it, and it's been a great adventure my whole life. So I'm very pleased being in Tullahoma.
Yes. Hey, you mentioned Camp Forest. Were you born in the hospital there?
I was born at the hospital there, yes.
Camp Forest.
My doctor was a Marine lieutenant, and saw on the birth certificate. The Tullahoma News ran a story about that some time ago when they were getting ready to do that dedication out there, that monument on the side of the highway, and somebody had given some bad. Well, they've been misinformed a little bit about the babies that were born there, and I had to set them straight on that one because there were quite a few of us born there. So
yeah,
worked out really good.
Okay, well let's what's happened to our clock, John?
Commercial.
Let's talk. Give us a little more information about you as a candidate. What are you trying to tell the folks they ought to vote for you?
I have, I've been, this will be my 3rd term if I'm successful. I've never had a desire really to be in politics per se. I've always been a servant and wanting to be a volunteer, and I've always been a volunteer in everything. I remember at Arnold Air Force Base, I was when I worked there, bike-a-thons, walk-a-thons, anytime anybody had anything in town or out to base or something for a benevolent cause, and I wanted to be a part of it, and I always engaged my nieces and nephews, and we all tried to bring them up in that same environment, and they did. So we had a good time. Anyway, we've done a lot of good things. I just have that desire to serve. And so somebody brought it to my attention when I retired that I didn't have enough to do. They thought I didn't have enough to do. And but I had plenty to do. I was going to retire. I was going to write a book and take care of a lot of people that needed my help at that time. And I just I got to do all that, and I found I had extra time on my hands anyway. And somebody saw that and encouraged me to be a servant for the people.
What is it? What's your primary thrust? What do you want to do most on the board?
What I've always done, pretty much, I support the mayor. The mayor was elected to head the city for his vision of it, and he has a great vision. I think he's something going on all the time. He's got he's involved in so many. You get so many activities going that will involve the future generation, the next generation, and the young mayors group, and he just involves a lot of young people with the idea of hopefully they'll if they leave to go to school and whatever to pursue something outside of Tullahoma, they will come back. Yeah. So that's and he has a vision for the city. That's what I like, and I support him in that. And I think that's my main job to do, is to support him.
Well, that's an interesting run. So let's we run out of short time, folks. Let's take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
The glory days, running to daylight on the gridiron, and chasing a ball with a mind of its own, cheering the team to victory, and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Winchester. Check out the 2018 Ford Taurus, yours today for $24,995. That's Russell Barnett Ford on 41A in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
We're talking today, folks, with two of our candidates for the Board of Mayor and Alderman of Tullahoma. They are Jackie Duncan, who you heard from first, and our other candidate this morning is Daniel Berry, who's sitting immediately on my left here. And so let's see what we can find out about him. So Daniel, thanks for joining us, and so tell us about yourself.
First, thank you. My name is Daniel Berry. My family moved here when I was in 6th grade. I count myself a Tullahoman. We moved from Ohio, so I count myself a Tennessean as well. Graduated from Tullahoma High School in 1999. Played football there. It was kind of those years. Miss Rose, Miss Cox, Miss Pockers, Pollock, and football coaches that kind of got those basic principles of leadership and teamwork. I, like Jackie had talked about, got those. I want to say that I got that wild hair to get up and move. I was actually kind of pushed off. I was told by my family, my friends, an opportunity came along for me to take a position in Texas. And they basically said, if you don't go on your own, we're going to tie you up and drag you there. Which I'm glad that I took that opportunity because it completely changed my life and put me on kind of a different path to where I love what I do. I get to do what I love every day. I get to work with people from all over the world. It's introduced me to different cultures and different types of people, and it kind of set in motion how I got here. Kind of wrapped everything together.
Okay. What's on your to-do list? Where do you want to put your time and focus on the board?
Time and focus, I think, what should be on the forefront of every, whether it's local, state, federal, global level, is good jobs. When I say good jobs, I mean kind of that what I tag light blue collar jobs that pay that 37 to 45 to 50 range, to where you can raise your family and also contribute back and sustain the economy. When I moved to Texas, I was originally in a landman, which is surveying and oil, and I got to see a town of 12 to 1,600 blow up to about 30, 40,000. Granted, they had the industry already, but in doing that, I got to see how that growth happens. You first have to get those good jobs coming, and then once you get those good jobs, then your retail comes, then your extra amenities come, then your restaurants come. And so the good jobs are kind of the horse, and everything else is that cart that gets in there. Then also the biggest thing is I walk around and talk about, I keep hearing roads. Which I never really noticed until I started hearing about it. I guess I just got used to it. But we got a lot of potholes that we need to get fixed out there, and some trimming in the roads. And then I also want to reach out to, as I've talked with some of the professionals in the schools, whether it's the secretaries and some of the teachers, there's some areas here in Tullahoma that they're not forgotten, but they're behind. And so I want to make a big effort and work with Tullahoma Police Department, and let's look at community policing. Not in terms of just getting out there and patrolling. Let's get out there and let's start building relationships and trust, and playing basketball and doing picnics and bringing them up. I think you can judge the success of a city by its low tier. Same as football, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So those are kind of the jobs, roads, and making sure that everybody's included and everybody's set up for success.
How would you go about the job routine? Have you got a process in mind there? Or?
So I've a couple different things. One, you got to have this. You can't just immediately go get the jobs. They're not going to come. There's some things you've got to do first. We need to look at our infrastructure, which is something that Tullahoma is far above kind of the surrounding areas here. We're a gigabit city, which is incredible for our size. We've got a private airport over here. We've got the base where we can fly cargo in. We need to start looking at, and the high school did a great job looking at some of these. They call it CTE now. I believe it used to be VOTEC. And when you're graduating high school, we need to be, graduate with the machine, graduate with HVAC, graduate with these services that we need here to build that industry so we have the employees. We also kind of need to step outside that legal boundaries and stop thinking of just Tullahoma. We're landlocked, so we can only grow so many houses, residential, right? But we have a great industrial park, and we can get these businesses. We can work with Franklin Moore Coffee to get people to work in these areas. And also, we can't tax them out of business. Our taxes are a little high. So we need to look at ways that we can get those lowered down. We can do that by looking at smart city infrastructure. And when I say smart, not as dumb, but kind of goal measured.
All right. Well, I think, we could talk a little bit more about the tax situation. But meanwhile, we're going to need to take another short commercial break, and let's do that. And then we'll come back and get with these two gentlemen.
Barnett here at Russell Barnett Chevrolet GMC in Winchester. Check out the 2019 Chevrolet Impala up to 19% off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Chevrolet GMC on the bypass in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're talking this morning, folks, with two of our candidates for the Tullahoma Board of Aldermen. They are incumbent Jackie Duncan, who is running for re-election, and Daniel Berry, who would like to have one of the two seats available. Both of you have mentioned economic development, which is, kind of a general, all-purpose, fun thing to talk about. But the question is, what is it and how do you go about it? Jackie, you have been, among other things, representing the city on the Tullahoma Economic Development Committee. So what do we mean when we're talking about good jobs? What sort of industries are we talking about, and who's supposed to go get them?
Well, I'm working with two groups that work in that arena. One is the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation, who the director is Mr. Thomas Robinson, and we meet once a month as a board of directors, and they are responsible. That group is pretty much responsible for most of the new industry we see. And Tullahoma has been growing quite a bit. You see quite a few new stores and there's
been a lot of retail.
Been growth. A lot of retail, yes.
Yes.
And that's what they do. That's part of their job. We have in September coming in the airplane.
Airplane Pilots and Owners Association.
Yeah, Pilots Association that'll be coming in. I forget the acronym for that right at the moment, but it eludes me. But that group will bring in. There'll be a big fly-in here in about 700 or 800 planes, and it'll be a lot of activity, a lot of opportunity to show off Tullahoma. They came here a few years ago and did a similar fly-in. It'll be the same type fly-in, and it's a big boom for Tullahoma to have something like that. This is one of the few places in the world that they do it. They've done it I guess twice in the last few years. That is the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation does a lot in that area to promote the city. There are other avenues that they use to organizations that they go to fairs and things like that. So it's not an idle time that we're going through, that the city is always being promoted. And there's always new industry. They're always looking for new industry, new jobs, just everything to boost the city and help it grow.
We're always looking for it, but in terms of new industry, we haven't been all that successful.
Well, we're working on that too. There, right now there is a program. It's going through UTSI. The automotive. It's I forget the unmanned autonomous vehicles. There's a program going on to trying to get that for this area, and that's been presented to
driverless cars.
That's right, driverless cars. And there is a program going on right now, and we're in the arena for that one. So hopefully something good will happen there with the Old Camp Forest area out there. We're hoping that's what's going to happen. So there's a lot of things that are going on or in the makings that we just, I think everybody's not aware of at the moment.
Well, let's find out how Daniel feels about that. How do you think we're doing, and where would we go from here?
I think we've got a great foundation that we continue to build on. I think Jackie and Mr. Noahs and Mr. Curley have done a great job, and those who came before, and so we've got the foundation there. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for a company called Nextboard, and through that we work with local governments, state governments, local school districts across the nation, and we get to work with some really interesting organizations like the Smart Cities Council. And we come in and we look at these and we help them manage their strategic plans and their growth plans and track accountability and setting goals. And
you're talking about individual companies?
Individual, City of Austin, Texas Education Association. And so something that I would love to see is work towards what I have seen is when these companies come in, they're looking for certain things. They're looking for, do you have the backbone and the infrastructure to support? We got to have our roads. Are the taxes somewhere that we can actually make a profit? And then access to, we're an hour and a half from Nashville. We're an hour from Chattanooga. So working with those, I think another big part is when Jackie's working with the Economic Corporation and they're doing some of this is marketing as a whole, because even if you have the city services, people got to know that you have those. The focus I would like to look at, retail and restaurants are great. I obviously love restaurants, but we need to focus on, we had Worth and we had Wilson, we had Bumblebee. We need to be going after some of those industries, and not just those, but because of our infrastructure and location to the base, STEM and technology is something that's going to bring in good money, good jobs. We have the capability here. Director Carver at the school is working on some really interesting things that I'm excited about, and I can't wait to see come down the pipeline to where we've got our kids involved. One of the biggest things we need to do overall, our biggest commodity here in Tullahoma is our people. And we're exporting versus keeping our kids here. But we got to have jobs for them to fill. We've got to have a place for them to live. And then as we do those things, we'll get restaurants.
Yeah, jobs and they got to have the skills to go with them.
Yep.
You mentioned a minute ago, and we're just about out of time, but you mentioned that our taxes are a bit high. You got a couple of things in mind there that?
Yeah, I'd love to, and I know that we always look at trimming the fat everywhere we can, but there's some different things that we can do. I did a case study with Madison, Alabama on the Smart Cities Council, where they're using IoT to look at the water flow throughout the city and different things. And they worked with, you contract out with renewable, sustainable energy, where you can upgrade your entire city's infrastructure, technology, HVAC, and all of that without raising taxes. And what they do is those companies come in, you contract, and they sell that off. It worked in Madison, not saying that it worked here, but it's worth going out and looking at.
Okay.
I think
well, guess what? Well, then we have run out of time, folks, and we're going to have to take another short commercial and wrap up.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
We've been talking today, folks, with 2 of our candidates for the Board of Mayor and Alderman. They are Jackie Duncan, who is an incumbent running again, and Daniel Berry, who is seeking one of the 2 seats available. So I want to give each of you a minute to say how come it ought to be you. Daniel?
I grew up here and I'm a son of Tullahoma and a product of those who taught me the lessons and morals that I need to go off of. And I think instead of me telling you why you should vote for me, I want to hear from you and talk to you. And feel free to reach out and contact me via my website, barryforalderman.com, or my phone is always open. And let's sit down and let's talk and let me convince you that way. But I believe I've got the leadership and the experience in working with these governments to bring some of this ideas from across the nation into our community.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And Jackie, why you?
I think my record speaks for itself. I've been I've been 2 terms already, and my constituents won't let me retire again for some reason. Seems like I thought about retiring, write another book, and I'm working on another book. So but I learned a long time ago I can do more than one thing at a time. I can chew gum and walk at the same time, and do other great things, you know. So I stay pretty busy, and I'm active in a lot of things within the community. I see people every day out on the streets, and I talk with somebody all the time. So I think my record pretty much speaks for itself, and I'm very accessible. I'm very active, and just we're getting a lot of things done that a lot of times you might not hear about until later on. But a lot of things are getting done in Tullahoma.
Okay. Well, I want to thank both of you for taking time to join us, and thank you folks for inviting us into your parlor. Next time we'll talk to the other 2 candidates, who are Rupa Blackwell and Stephen Landers. And so meanwhile, have a good day, and thanks for joining us.